You were given that by her.
Really?
She's your Rana.
He pauses for a moment. That sounds vaguely familiar. That name, Rana. Very, very vaguely familiar.
And then I'm gonna say in Qunlat, I know how a Tamazaran cares for their children.
You speak to him in Kunlat, and it seems to go over his head. Like he doesn't seem to understand what you're saying. I beg your pardon?
I'm sorry, I'll switch to common. She's been worried something fierce for you, and I don't care if you hate the Qun, don't like the Qun, but she at least deserves to know that you're okay. And you need to approach her before we go to the deep roads, because she might not get another chance.
He looks up towards the ceiling past you as if he's searching for something in his memory. I have to admit, I don't quite remember too much about my childhood. It's been many years, and I think a lot of that has been lost to me. But if what you say is the truth, then yes, perhaps we should have a conversation before we leave.
Not perhaps, and it is. I'll leave you with your thoughts on that.
I appreciate you telling me, but I cannot promise you that I would be able to put herself 100% at ease, given, again, my spotty memories of the past.
I think whatever you can give will be enough.
He will nod.
And before I leave, oh yeah, Darren's here too.
Darren's here?
Yeah.
Which wagon is she in?
She's with Violetta. The one near the front near Master Agnaldo's.
I see. Thank you for informing me.
Alright. Well, I'll leave you with that. I have some more pressing meetings to get to, but it was always a pleasure to have this conversation, Warden Lento.
Of course.
As Rosie comes in to the kind of mess hall area, and maybe Dartham's like hiding where Baum's sitting so he can eat the floating candied apples. Kevin walk in, maybe like watching kind of the rest of the people eating, and maybe Dartham walks up next by and just kind of stands nearby. Probably both have a similar expression.
Mm-hmm.
And Dartham will just say, "Your daughter's been quite a help to us. Truly a spectacular individual."
Has she? No. I guess that means that her being here isn't for nothing. At least.
I will admit I was a bit annoyed when I found out she was spying on me. But I don't blame her or you for doing it.
You have to understand, Dartham, that until Rosie sent me reports, all I knew about you was that you had escaped or left the compound in which the Awakened live, that you were hostile, and potentially on the surface, which is a step we were attempting to mitigate for the time being. It was a precaution. I would not send my own daughter out there for anything less important than that. Of course, it wasn't entirely my choice. Also, she wanted to go, be an adventurer, and see all these new places, and I would have preferred she stayed at home, to be honest, but she's not a little girl anymore. It's not my decision.
Yeah, he'd kind of nod and say, I know that feeling.
Do you?
Well, to some degree.
I don't know a lot about you, other than, I suppose your every movement in the past month or so. But
Right. Well, me and Bomb as well, but we're unique among the Awakened. We remember.
when you were unawakened.
And before.
When you were Alvin.
Yes. As a point of reference, I'm technically over 1,300 years old.
I'm pretty much a babe, then, by your standards.
Technically, though, I'm only 24.
See. How long have you been as you are?
Awakened, or just this?
Awakened.
It's been, 2 years, I think.
Hard thing to come to terms with, I bet.
For anyone, yes, but for me particularly. I know what I did to the Awakened was wrong. But I was very angry.
Oh, well, that makes it okay then.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because I was angry at the archdemons. I was angry at the blight. I was angry at myself. I was a slave in ancient Avinter.
Rather nice. Sounds like things weren't great for you even before you became a Darkspawn.
No. I'd never really known any freedom. But I had a wife. And I had a little sister. Ceres.
That I understand.
I was treated well, and I did a lot of things for my master because Ceres's life was my payment. And one of the first things I did after I became this was murder my family.
Get the feeling that you don't talk about this much.
No.
Do your companions know?
I've told Darren, and Tyrion, my doctor, knows a little bit. Don't think anyone else is particular. No, Pasha. I think she might know.
I get the feeling that this is probably the part where I'm supposed to impart some sort of, say, sage wisdom or insight that's supposed to somehow make it go away.
Probably it's what we're right.
Thing is, I'm all out of wisdom, I think. But I will say this. When I heard that you were attacking members of your kind, I thought to myself, does he really hate them? Does he just hate himself? I think you've answered that for me.
I hated myself, and I hated the Darkspawn. I'll just tell you my intentions were to either die in the process or succeed in single-handedly wiping out every last Darkspawn, awakened or not, before I killed myself.
Well, it's nice to have ambition.
I knew I was going to die. I suppose it was my way of committing suicide.
You still feel that way?
No. It's actually thanks to Andrea. I don't know entirely how she did it, but she started developing a cure for the blight.
Well, that was our cause. Half the Guardians would work on a cure. The other half would work on these Darkspawn. Try to figure out what's wrong. That's what Kenna and I... That's what we were asked to do. So, obviously, what Andrea did helped. But what about you? What about your future? You still planning on giving yourself a ceremonious final call?
I may still have it. The side effects may be lethal with this lyrium cure. I suppose the biggest thing was when Andrea told me that I could help prevent more from suffering under the Darkspawn, not by killing them, but by curing them, by saving them. I was relieved.
That doesn't sound like someone that was wholly committed, wholly desiring of the plan you put forth.
I felt like there was no way I could be redeemed. But actually one thing Pasha said about how a swarm of locusts can't control that it's a locust.
Sounds like you already have your sage advice in your own party.
Yeah. We have a few philosophers, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm not big on philosophy. I got 50 years of experience, and that's all I got. But
Often more valuable.
yeah, well, doesn't mean everybody will listen. You learn that being a parent. But I'll say this. You're not what I expected.
And a common theme someone said to me.
Well, I'm not original in the slightest then, am I? But I think it's a good thing. You seem able, at least from our brief acquaintance, to acknowledge when you've done wrong. To see that life, if it can be redeemed, should be redeemed. And actually, I've observed your standing in your party. Well, it reminds me of my own. Back in the day, when we were traveling. You know, Kenna was the one that would come up with the wise words. She'd do the speeches. And Andrea was the life of the party. And Cedric was the sense and the rules. But I like to think that I, excuse the pun, kept people grounded. Kept us moving forward. Kept us from not losing sight of what was right in front of us. I think you need that.
And for a long time, I thought I could only give it to others. Couldn't take it myself.
It's a common theme with our types. We're often much better at doling out the advice than taking it ourselves. And hell, I've made mistakes.
And he kind of stops and kind of looks over. Maybe the both of them kind of look in the silence, and their gazes settle on the table, maybe on a moment where like Rosie and Leon are like maybe slightly blushing, looking at each other. And
little bit of a shudder.
Well, do you mind if I perhaps give some of my own little words of grounding?
You can try. If it's about that, you better watch your mouth.
Well, it is. I don't know what I would have been like with Ceres. She only got to see age 7. I truly don't entirely know what I would do in your situation. But I do know how happy I had been with Verania. How it seemed like I had finally found someone who I didn't have to wear a mask around. I could just be the entirety of myself, warts and all. I could do awful things, I could make mistakes, but she would always understand, she would always listen. She wouldn't judge. That bond, it's not always romantic, but it's very rare and I think very important. And my only advice I would say is, I think we all have to find exactly what that bond is, who it is with for ourselves. And it's not always obvious. But there's no way you can find out if you don't allow for the trying.
I get it. I do. This may seem kind of lame saying this because you've had millennia over me to come to terms with that, but I don't know that I have that anymore. I've had connections with people I've loved. I just don't think it's worth it. It's a lot of pain. And the people I love don't tend to stay. I want what's best for her. I do. But it's hard for me to support something that has only ever caused for me grief. I don't want her to go through that.
Do you mind if I'm blunt here?
Please, it's my favorite.
What's your right to stop her?
Well, I asked for that, didn't I? Guess I don't. She'll do what she wants to do.
Don't get me wrong, there's definitely, I think, people who are not at all genuine. But Leon is very genuine. He's quite naive. He's still learning how to become himself. But I mean, for Demont's sake, he killed a high dragon, so he's got some good things.
Why does it feel like you've been waiting to slip that in? Sorry, that was slightly out of character.
Both of them are roughly the same age. Both of them are still growing and learning to be themselves. And I understand the loss of a loved one being ripped away. But even though I still grieve for her, I grieve for Ceres. I wouldn't have done it differently. I'd rather have one spark of light than endless monotony.
Rosie is young. She's becoming a woman. And I was young when I lost my wife. As you say, those are formidable years. They're years that should be filled with light and happiness. I don't want them filled with grief. I don't want them filled with hurting. She deserves a better future than that. It's what I fought for. It's what I will continue to fight for.
Sarah's deserved better than to be killed by her own brother.
If you could give her the chance to have that again, wouldn't you? I mean, it's a stupid question. Of course you would.
Yes.
That's all I want for her. I want her to have that chance. But you are probably far too busy to listen to an old dwarf whine. And I feel like a conversation will need to be had with the boy either way.
Oh, I agree.
At the very least, make him squirm a little.
He certainly has I'm not sure if active imagination is quite right, but he has the fear of the maker of you. So, frankly, just being in the same room already is quite a lot.
Good. But I appreciate the talk. And if I might offer in exchange for your advice, perhaps another future to consider. Obviously, you know I'm the ambassador to your people and the dwarven people. But perhaps it could be argued, have lost some touch to the deep roads and the plight. I live in Ferelden. Bracer work takes me all over the country. I could use someone to assist me in those relations. Someone that knows it better than I can.
Not very well versed myself. Don't even know if the Awakened would want me.
Well, I only have Rosakel as a kind of speaker on that, but she seemed eager to hear as to when I'd spoken with you, when you might return to the deep roads. It's none of my business. But if you wanted to have those conversations, I can arrange that.
I would guess when they entered the mess hall, Leon would see Rosie, and give her a smile and a little wave, but then see Theo in there and be like,
Leon,
"Oh, yeah, yes."
can I have a word?
He looks over at Rosie. Yes.
Good, that's one word. Good start. Is there anywhere on this circus that we can speak privately?
I know a place down a little lower, it's next to some trees. Nice, cool shade, away from folk.
Perfect. If you could be so kind as to leave me there.
Sure. Sort of walks out, sort of
Mm-hmm.
glancing back every once in a while.
Theo will follow Leon out, giving Rosie's shoulder a squeeze as he does so. And he will follow Leon.
Anything in particular?
You seem tense. Not worried about speaking to me, are you?
No, it's just it's been a while since we've met with a guardian, and well, it went interestingly.
Well, I just want to have a chat, Leon. Why don't you sit?
Sure.
And Theoben will also sit. I guess if we're in a wooded area, then I guess they're sitting on the grass or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably some rocks or some, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll sit on a rock. So stone. So, why don't we fix the tension here? Why don't I pour you a drink? And you hear the pup as he uncorks something.
His eyes get real wide because he knows. He knows.
And you just hear the glick, 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 glick as he pours it.
I don't drink alcohol.
Oh, this isn't alcohol. Don't be shy.
I am careful with what I ingest. You know, with being a mage and all, you want to keep your wits about you.
Leon, come on, we're practically family at this point.
Family.
Rosie clearly cares for you, and I just want to get to know you a bit. You wouldn't refuse a drink, would you?
Okay. He takes it like, you know, this is going to end his life. This is it. It's over. I accept this. Okay.
Time to re-roll a character.
Okay. Cheers. Hold on. He just sort of pours it down, slams it down.
Hannah, what does this concoction taste like? Describe it for Sam.
I think it tastes, well, first of all, Theoben totally lied. There's alcohol in it. So you do get the kind of the aftertaste of a bit of alcohol in it. Also very earthy, kind of, there's almost a kind of root taste into it, but it also seems to have been artificially flavored to taste like a bit more kind of appealing to drink. So yeah, I guess if Orzammar was a drink, it would be this sort of thing.
How strong would you say?
It's probably quite strong. I don't think he would have gone easy on it. So
Constitution roll, Leon.
He sort of
Constitution roll.
blurts out because it's, you know, alcohol, and alcohol is
This is the
very
true test because only a
strong.
true dwarf can date Rosie.
Finally, Constitution drinking.
Yes, Constitution drinking. Go ahead, Leon.
the drinking focus was literally the only reason Theoben was built with con.
Oh. You got a 12.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. If you continue partaking with another drink, you'll start feeling tipsy. Yeah.
What? Tasty. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you think so. What you've ingested is a Verum Potio, street name truth potion. For the next few minutes, you'll be forbidden from telling me any lies.
Can I do an insight check on that?
You can.
Please do.
This could
no.
be bad.
He gets like visibly white. Okay.
So if what Hannah says is true, you're compelled to tell the truth. And if you wish to fight it, you're going to have to roll to fight it, to telling the truth. But go ahead.
I would like to know what you've been doing with my daughter. You can start from the beginning. I've got time.
Well, it started with he sort of takes a breath. It started with, we met her when he starts going through the story. It's very benign. You didn't start feeling that there's a hint for feelings until Andrea said, and now make sure to treat Rosie right. She is my niece after all, and it'd be terrible if anything were to happen to her. You know, that sort of. And then he started to have feelings about her, but that also is about the time where he went to his parents' house, so it was very, very emotionally charged, and he talks about his parents feeling while in the house. It was good to have someone to anchor him. It was hard. It was, a lot of things have been happening in my life. like a storm. It's raging darkness. There's no light. It's every tunnel I open, every book I read, it just gets darker and darker. I feel like I'm drowning. There's only so much you can take, and you need something to anchor you to. It's like a lighthouse in a stormy night, something that you can attain for. It's a rock, but yet I feel like if I reach out, if I touch this point of light, it'll fester, it'll burn, it will darken. I don't think, if this continues, I'm worried that things will not go well. How can I attain something when it so badly inhibits someone else? I don't think that it's right for Rosie.
Rosie told me that she doesn't know how you feel about her. What do you feel about her?
Well, as a mage, I'm told to bottle my feelings, as when connecting to the Fade, things can be dangerous. But you need something to anchor you to. In the harrowing, you're taught to know yourself, to control yourself, to focus on what you want to obtain. But that's hard with emotions because they are so volatile, they're so fleeting, like wisps in the wind. But yet, I'm compelled to grasp at them. It's like butterflies. It's, if you try to reach for them, they faint away, but you just have to reach for them. But yet, I'm afraid that as soon as I grasp a butterfly, it'll be crushed in my hand.
Do you think you're worthy of her?
No, I don't think, with my path the way it is, how could I? There's too much going on. I don't want to taint her as well.
That was the right answer.
That doesn't make me feel better.
I'm not trying to make you feel better. What's next?
I don't want to hurt her, but yet, if I choose to continue with these feelings, it'll be painful for both of us. But if I cut them off, I fear that it'll also be painful. But yet, it's better to trim a bush while it's still growing than to let it blossom.
Do you plan on telling her that?
I think we're still early in, well, whatever our relationship is. I don't want to hurt her, but how can I look at her every day and say, no, I don't feel anything for you. And she has her mission. It's not like one of us can leave.
What did you think when you found out that I was her father?
I wanted to make a good impression on you. But, well, we'll see how that goes. I know that you are a guardian and you have a legacy behind you. And there's a certain prestige to that, but, well, as anything, you will choose how to protect your daughter. And whether or not that involves me in her life, well, it is up to you to decide.
Why did you tell her to stop sending reports to her father?
I did not intend her to stop cold turkey. I merely wanted to, well, omit some things, and I know that that is wrong, but I feel like it is best that, well, some information, at least at that time, remains obscured. I regret that she has not been in contact, as I know how important family is, especially once it's gone.
Last question, Leo. What kind of future do you see with my daughter?
Well, ideally, I'd continue my research. We see how things turn out. Plans change. People change. I hope, at least where I am now, that I'll be worthy of her in the future. Or that eventually she chooses me, or she chooses what's best for her. I think things are too fleeting in the future. It's not good to think about them too much. My plans have changed so much.
Also, a good answer. Well, thank you, Leon.
Well, I've got to ask you a few questions now. As well, if things maybe go well.
How many grandkids do you want?
Well, according to Rosie, I'm getting 5 or 6.
Oh no.
And she's the one who's going to end up doing all the work. I hope
Oh.
somebody told her that.
Holy cow.
But it is only fair. Ask away.
I know that she has a complicated relationship with you. I mean, what parent and child doesn't have a complicated relationship, but do you feel that I'm making the right decision?
In being with her, do you mean?
I am indecisive. I cannot make my mind up, and I feel that that will hurt her in the long run. Should I make a stance now?
It sounds like, and I don't know the particulars, and I don't need the particulars. It sounds like things have already reached a point in which Rosie is very invested in you. She blooms, to use your term, when she talks about you. She seems happy. Nobody, like you said, knows what way life is going to go. My priority is making sure that when you do make that decision, that you respect her enough to be honest about it. I can't tell you whether or not you're meant to be together, or whether you should give it a chance. That's up to you too. But give her that decency. Be open about your feelings. If you're not sure, tell her. Maybe she's unsure too. But if she's not, it's better that she knows.
You're right. Communication is very important. I fear that, as always, there are some things that cannot be said. I fear that we will make the wrong decision when it comes to saying or not saying the right thing.
We all mess up. We all say stuff we shouldn't. The important thing is that you intend to be honest, that you communicate, that you make sure to let her in when you realize for yourself what you want. And hey, you're both still young. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna F up. It's gonna happen. There's no point in trying to play things perfect.
But it has to be for her. There's only one chance.
Rosie doesn't want perfect, Leon. She wants, if I had to guess, she just wants stability. She wants to know where she stands. She didn't get a lot of that growing up. She's lived in different places. She's had different carers. She's never had anything that will stand by her no matter what. Not even me. She does need that. I don't know if it'll be you, but it's what she needs.
I hope I can be the right person, at least for now.
Well, if you make it official, there's no for now about it.
Yeah. That's, yes. Yeah.
By the way, there was nothing in that drink.
Are you sure? 'Cause I feel a little off.
You didn't have to tell me the truth.
I mean, isn't that like relationship 101 truth?
That's all I wanted to say.
So well played. Kenna and Pasha have entered into where Valor is, the Valor's wagon, and Kenna will hand carefully the staff, the non-magical,
Totally organic.
totally organic
The all-natural, gluten-free,
abilities.
Pasture-raised.
Gluten-free, yes, exactly. And even though it's not magic, I still need Pasha to effectively roll a magic roll. Effectively.
Just make a vegan roll.
roll
It's gonna
for
go
roll for
horribly.
climate change.
That's a 14 with a 6-point stunt.
Oh, yes.
Ah!
Perfect. Good.
She's a natural at magic.
Attempt to... So go ahead, Pasha. Attempt to speak with Valor.
Valor, can you try saying something?
What would you like me to say?
Pasha just hugs her. She's like, yes,
Can you understand me all of a sudden?
I can. This thing works. Considering this isn't magic, this is immense. Oh,
It's not magic?
that's what Kenna said. Oh my dear, it is good to finally talk with you.
I agree. This is very nice.
Oh, I wish there was some way of making this more permanent. Has there been anything on your mind? Anything you've tried to tell me that I haven't understood?
She thinks for a moment, and then she says, "Are you mating with Athon yet?"
I think.
It seems like every single other person in this entire group is getting on with somebody, and it doesn't seem like you have a chance yet. And considering how I myself seem to be not getting any, you should certainly start getting some.
I think she looks at Kenna like, I regret all of my choices. This is not the conversation I thought I'd be having.
Now the thing is, since Pasha's using the staff, Kenna doesn't understand what he's saying. So she's not hearing any of this.
Pasha just
Getting
gives
wise
her-
words of wisdom, because Esbjorn gave me such wisdom.
These are wise words of wisdom. Thank you very much. Out of character.
I think I think Valor's thinking about mating season. That's what's going on.
He's waiting for her bachelorette show.
Right, where's the bachelorette?
No, I think you have I'm not going to say the wrong idea, Valor, but I think Pasha actually looks over towards Athon's part of the room because he's not there. And she's gonna. Has he said anything about me whilst I haven't been here?
Of course he has. Well, he talks to me a lot about what's going through his mind, and every time he does, you have to remember, I have a very strong sense of smell, and the pheromones around here,
Oh God! Pasha's gonna hand the staff back, just like I don't think my heart can handle this.
Yeah, she starts to sing. He speaks very fondly of you, and then you're handing the staff back, and then all of a sudden it goes.
Then it was like, it might be cute, so like take it back.
Yeah.
Is it pheromone? Is it cute stuff? What's happening?
Okay, you take the staff back, and her squawking goes back to normal conversation. Yeah. He speaks very fondly of you. He seems to really enjoy the times that you've had together, although he still very much is deathly afraid of heights. He just lies about getting over it around you because he wants to impress you.
Oh no. Oh, that's so incredibly sweet of him. If only I weren't thinking about pheromones. Oh. Well, thank you for telling me that, Valor.
You asked and I answered. Anything else?
If you don't mind me asking, who was the person you were with before, the Grey Warden?
Oh, yes. Yes. Titania was her name. She was one of the Grey Wardens back home in Weishaupt. But from what I gathered, I suppose she's no longer around.
Human? Elven? Dwarf?
Believe it or not, she was dwarven. Yes. And she was a mighty warrior. Very kind, very gentle. And we were each other's partners. She had the most beautiful features as well. But one of my favorites was this star-shaped mark on her hand.
Pasha turns to Kenna. Kenna, which of the Guardians has the star? A star on the hand?
That was fire.
Oh. Maybe we should get Balin riding you. It'd just be like old times, kind of.
The little one? The little niblet?
Maybe don't call him a niblet, but yes, the little one.
Don't you think that he's a little too young to be flying?
Oh, not up high, just around. Just around.
If his father thinks that would be all right, then I suppose it would be fine by me. Are we going to Weishaupt at some point?
Probably. I imagine so.
I suppose then, if that's the case, that is where I belong, she says with a lot of sadness.
There's a Grey Warden with us, Daniel. I would hate to see you somewhere where you don't want to be. If you would prefer to go with him, or...
I was very happy with the Wardens. They treated all of us with respect, and they cared for us. So I don't have any ill memories of Weishaupt. but I know that a lot of time has passed, and I've spent a lot of time with your group here at the circus. And Master Ignaldo especially has been showering me with praises ever since I arrived. He has been especially nice to me.
Yes, you... If you ever became one of his attractions, you would make him so much gold.
You mean like a star, as he says? And you see the lights, her eyes light up.
Oh no. Yes, I guess I do mean, is that something you'd be interested in?
I don't know, nobody's ever given me the option. I was bred and raised to be a warrior, to fight in combat. I never really thought about doing anything else other than that. But now that you mention it, being up on stage and performing is not unenticing.
Well, Valor, if... By the gods, I can't believe I'm saying this. If you're only going to be with us for so much longer, if you want to perform, then you shall do so.
Really? Do you mean it? I can be a star?
Yes.
You see like this sudden like beam from her face as if she's saying, I'm gonna be a superstar. She seems very excited by that. And then you just kind of see like the stars like flashing around her.
Pasha will she'll scratch Valor in one of the places that she knows that Valor likes to be scratched, I think. And she says, I'm going to give this staff back to Kenna now, so I don't know when or if we'll ever be able to talk like this again, but I greatly enjoyed talking with you.
I did too as well, my friend. I'm going to miss this talk, and well, I just know that even if you don't understand what I'm saying to you, I still hear you.
And Pasha will hug Valor. And then she'll hand the staff back.
As you do this, you'll hear a knock on the side of the wagon door, and you will see that Warden Lento has entered, and he's sort of cleared his throat. I'm sorry, if I'm interrupting something, I can come back later.
We were just finished, right, Kenna?
Yep, all done. Thanks for the advice. And I walk out.
If I may, Warden Lento says, I think that you and I should have a talk.
If you would like that, Warden.
He will come into the wagon, and he will, politely shut the door behind him, and he'll say, so, I have to warn you, I'm a very direct person, and I don't beat around the bush. If I have something I need to say, I go right ahead and say it. I will preface this by saying that I just had a conversation with one of your colleagues, Mr. Alren. And, he informed me that you and I have some sort of history.
He did?
He did. And I will again preface this by saying, just as a warning, that I admit that there's a lot about my childhood that is very spotty. My memories are not 100% clear back during that part of my life. It's honestly has not been a part of my life that I've needed to revisit. So I don't know if that will help with this conversation, but I just wanted to be very upfront and honest about that.
I see. To tell the truth, I was content to let you remember at your own pace. If you have forgotten things, then I thought perhaps you had forgotten them for a reason, and the thought of causing you unnecessary pain is intolerable to me.
I'm a Grey Warden. Unnecessary pain comes with my job. But I understand what you're trying to say. Maybe I can at least start by sharing with you what I do remember from my past.
If you would be so kind.
The earliest memories, the earliest clearest memories that I had was around the time I was 10 years of age. By that point, I was a servant of my master, Alexius. He was a good man, at least good to me, Alexius was, as he was good to all of his servants, at least as far as I could tell. I don't really have very much to compare it to experience-wise. I became one of his indentured servants, and after 15 years of servitude, I earned my citizenship. Once I got my citizenship, shortly after, I ended up moving. I moved to Orlais, I became a guard, decided I wanted to do something more with my life, and debated between being a Templar, but then I found the Wardens, and this has now been my calling ever since. I wasn't really ever told about how I came to be under my master Alexius. He never really shared it, and I asked a few times, and he himself didn't really have any answers for me, and I assumed it's because he didn't legitimately have them. But if you have some answers, I am open to hearing them.
If you asked me for the moon and stars, I would try and give them you. And I understand that must be rather disturbing to hear a total stranger say that, but you're not a total stranger to me.
I understand that.
I think she, just looking around very quickly, I don't suppose there'd be any, maybe some flowers that maybe Athon keeps on his desk, or some hay or something.
Sure.
So I think she'd run over and she'd grab the flowers, and she'd kind of cuss a little bit under her breath, and kind of, I'll get him some more, it'll be fine. And she kind of goes up, she walks to Daniel's side, and she begins making a flower crown. And she says, I don't know if you'd remember this. I taught you a very long time ago. You see, you put your thumb here, and she's trying to like move his hands so that he's the one doing it, and just to see if maybe the muscle memory is there, just somewhere in his brain.
Yeah, roll me an empathy. Roll me an empathy.
That's a 16 with a 6 points.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at his expressions on his face, and he seems to be slowly, at least his face is showing that it seems to something looks very familiar to him. And then he says, yes, I do remember this. I do remember this. It's been a long time since I've made one of these.
Oh, you were constantly making them. All of the Tamatarans had a flower bracelet or a flower necklace, flower crown, whatever. You loved making them so much. That's why we called you Dandelion.
I see. I don't mean to say this to hurt your feelings or anything, but once I gained my citizenship, I wanted to a fresh start. I wanted to reinvent myself. So I changed my name at that point, which is why I am now known as Daniel Lento moving forward.
That doesn't hurt my feelings at all. If me calling you Dandelion would hurt, I'm fine with Daniel, or Warden Lento, whichever you prefer.
No, he says, you may call me whatever you'd like.
Thank you, my dear. In regards to how you ended up in Tevinter, I don't suppose you'd remember the day. It was summer. And I decided to take all of my children at the time, down to the beach to play. I remember you collecting seaweed, I think. And then the ships came. Big ships, not Kunari. And then there was fire and sand and screaming, so much screaming. All of my children afraid, and I was 19. I hadn't been trained for this. I had been trained for illnesses and children picking fights and getting scraped knees, not kidnappings and fireballs. And I promise you I tried. I promise you I tried to get to you, and I couldn't. There was too many of them. I saw that you were being taken, and I tried to go after you, and by this point there were guards from the town, and they saw what I was trying to do, but they held me back, and I don't begrudge them that. I was a young girl who didn't know what she was doing, but I remember thinking, what if he never looked back? What if he was taken and he thought that I had forgotten him? What if he thought his Mazran had forgotten him? And I didn't. I promise you I didn't, and I'm so sorry.
As you're telling this story, at first he's looking into your eyes as they're welling up with tears, with concern. And as soon as Pasha starts to, really fully tear up, he averts his eyes. You're not really sure if it's because of shame or because of guilt or whatever, but there's something that causes him to avert his eyes and just kind of bows his head and looks down, but he's still listening. It's clear that he's still listening to everything he's saying as he's avoiding your eyes. And then he says, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I wish I could tell you that I remember that day vividly. I can sense bits and pieces of it. Like I said, it's been a very long time, but that does not mean that the pain that you have clearly gone through has faded in any way. You're asking me for forgiveness, and of course, if I still can recall everything that happened to the day, I would properly forgive you. But it's hard, It's hard when there's so many gaps that you can't remember. to fully give you a meaningful forgiveness, if that makes sense. I don't know if that eases your pain at all, but whoever that boy was when he left your care, I hope you realize that he did end up growing up happy in the end. And he did end up growing up fulfilled. I'm sorry that you have carried this for so long. And if there's anything I can say or do to help you release this pain, I'd be more than happy to do so.
Your happiness is the only thing I ever wanted, and perhaps it's better that you don't remember. Perhaps that this wasn't causing you pain. I can take that. I do have one request, and you don't need to accept this. If it would make you uncomfortable, then you don't need to do it. But at some point in the future, if you are ever near Saharon, I need to see you walk up that beach. I need to see you walk away from the ocean, because if I don't, then I am worried that I will be seeing that until the day I die.
He will take a hold of your hand and just, squeeze it a little bit. If there ever is an opportunity for me to do that for you, I will take it.
I would be very grateful.
He takes a deep breath, and then he sort of nods. I will say one thing, though. Even though old memories may be lost, it does not mean that new ones cannot be made.
I would like that. I would like that very much so.
My understanding is that you will be accompanying us into the deep roads. At least that's what I've been told. Perhaps we can continue doing some catching up during that time. I would like that.
Me too. Okay.
Okay.
Can I stop crying now, please?
Yes. Whatever you want.
I didn't. Oh, I do have a tissue. Aha! There we go.
Kenna and Theoben. I'm going to say that you guys are going to start preparing to head out again. You guys have resupplied. We'll say this is the next day. You spent the night camping out at the circus. You've gotten to know other people here, which unfortunately can't roleplay thoroughly, but we'll say that you pretty much have gotten to know people in the immediate area. And I'm gonna say that evening. Okay, let me back it up a little bit. That evening, when you're spending the night, I'm going to say that both Theoben and Kenna run into Violetta and Balin. Violetta will see the two of you approach, and I'm just assuming you guys have seen Violetta relatively recently, so she's just gonna give you a friendly wave. But Balin stops what he's doing, because it looks like he was training a little bit with Violetta, and he turns towards your direction, and as soon as you guys make eye contact, you can feel a surge in each of your individual marks when you see this boy. And he just looks at you as if he knows the two of you. Not just he knows of you because you're the guardians, but he looks like he knows you personally somehow. And when you look at Balin, you both feel a presence from within him. You feel a presence of a very strong woman who is a devoted priestess of Andraste with a sword and shield and a love for chocolate. And you feel other presences of this person's past selves through life. You can feel them, including one that you hadn't felt before, but you're starting to feel it very prevalent now. A presence of somebody who was also a great warrior, who was a Grey Warden that soared through the air on the back of a beautiful griffin.
Oh, as a kid, Kenna, you're good with kids. You can take that, right? Theo won't walk away.
No, Theo. No.
No. I don't want to
No.
Don't make an issue out of this, Kenna. Please, just don't.
I know you, the little boy says as he approaches the two of you. I know both of you.
You do?
I feel like I've always known you.
Must just have one of those faces.
Theo.
What do you want me to say? It's not Hallie.
Of course it's not Hallie, but I mean, you can't punish him for not being Hallie.
Not punishing the kid.
He is going to need to know us eventually. You really want this to be your first impression?
Kenna, it's Hallie. How
I know.
am I supposed to be anything else?
Because he's not Hallie. He's in her. Like, it's a part of him, but it's also not at the same time.
And that's weird. It's weird to me that the woman I loved is in there, but I can't talk to her.
But you can.
I can't.
In a way.
Okay. Well, sure. I'll just take
Not
Balin
the
away
same.
and say,
No, but you know what I mean. I'll sort of kneel down by the kid. My name is Kenna, and that's Theo.
Hi, my name is Balin, and I think I'm supposed to eventually join your group when I'm stronger. My daddy says that
Hi.
it's what I'm supposed to become. I'm supposed to be a guardian too. Miss Violetta has been trying to teach me how to focus, because she says that fire's very, very hard to control.
It can be, yes. How do you feel about it?
I'm excited about it. I want to help, like when my daddy, he says daddy with a little bit of a daddy. When my daddy goes and fights, I wanted to help him, but I guess I'm not old enough yet or strong enough yet. I don't know when I'm ready or why this is happening to me, but it's all in the why, you know?
Yes, I understand. There are a lot of questions that we had too. She says, still trying to get Theo to be involved.
he's trying to look anywhere else.
I know you have a lot of questions, and I hope that we can answer them. There's a place that when we all feel, you and Violetta and all the Guardians feel ready, we could take you to a special place.
Will I not see everybody here? He says, turning to the circus again?
No, just because you're a guardian doesn't mean you let go of, your family or your friends.
I heard you can teleport from one place to another. Like he tries to snap his fingers, but he can't. Like that.
It's true. It's true. We can use that. Makes it easier to stay in contact with everyone we love. Mm-hmm.
Everyone.
Theo.
What?
I'm gonna say that at this point, Balin looks at Theo, and he's got a very concerned look on his face when he looks at Theo. I don't know if Mr. Theoben likes me very much.
No, I like you fine, kid. You just remind me of someone I used to know, so.
Oh. Okay. He looks very awkward at that.
Not your fault. And you're a guardian, so. We'll help you. We'll train you. And we'll make sure you can control your bracer. Okay?
He'll nod. Okay. He reaches into his pocket and then he pulls out what looks like to be some pieces of chocolate. And then he holds out the pieces of chocolate to the two of you and says, Miss Andrea says that chocolate helps people become closer together, so maybe this can help us be friends, he says, holding out some chocolate.
I would very much like that. And I'll take a piece of chocolate.
He'll then hold it out towards Theoben. Would you like some of my chocolate, Mr. Theoben?
Yeah. That'd be great. What is your name again?
Balin.
Thanks, Balin.
Do you reach out and
He'll take the chocolate.
you'll take a piece of chocolate and just very lightly, Theoben, your hand will make contact with his hand, and there'll just be a sudden rush, and whether you like it or not, you can clearly feel Halaser's presence for that split moment when you touch his hand.
Guess I'll take what I can get.
With that, I'm gonna say that Violetta will come from behind Balin, and she'll put her hands on Balin's shoulders and say, Balin, I think it's time for supper, so why don't you go and run along and wash up, and let some of the guardians talk about guardian business. Okay, Miss Violetta. And he will leave.
It was lovely to meet you.
Violetta will turn towards the two of you and say, well, that went as well as I guess we could hope it could have gone.
It's a lot.
I know it's a lot. I had a feeling that if you were to meet him in person, that it would spur some old memories. But it's probably deeper than that, isn't it?
Well, memories or not, her soul's in him now. Guess we just have to make the best of it.
Unfortunately, I think if I understand how the Guardians work, you are eternally connected to each other, and that's unfortunately something that you can't change. For better, for worse.
Well, I'm connected to him. I don't feel very connected to her. I get flashes. I guess I just wish that the soul was a one person only kind of thing.
Oh, Theo.
I thought I am past it. I am. But just seeing her again, even...
Theo, don't take this the wrong way, but hopefully I'm not overstepping, but do you think maybe part of you, just a small part of you, was hoping that we wouldn't find him sooner rather than later? Was part of you hoping that we wouldn't find him for a while until you were ready to meet face to face with him?
I don't know what I was waiting for. I don't know if I was waiting. I think if this world made sense, then Hallie would be here or she would not be here. And I wouldn't have to look at her soul knowing that she's not there anymore. But still is.
It doesn't give you much closure, I can see.
Right.
It'd be so much easier if she was just completely gone. I understand. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. The world doesn't work that way. I'm never gonna get to say goodbye.
That's the thing, we don't ever have to. We always find each other again.
We don't all live... We don't live forever. Our bodies don't live forever, and hopefully, I think that is the hope. I would like to believe your hope is that your daughter will outlive you, and if that is the case, then I don't know if you find any comfort that there's a possibility that you will be able to, in some form, meet your daughter again, even after your death.
Well, we'll become an ancestor at that point. We'll return to the stone. And yeah, maybe I'll see Hallie when I'm dead, but is that really all the closure I'm ever gonna get? I just wish I could see her one last time.
I wish you could too, Theo. I wish you could too. And with that, just because, you know, Violet and Theo have been close over the years, she will move in to give Theo a hug.
Mm. He'll hug her back.
No, I hugged him too.
So could I change the subject and get into some gossip instead?
Please.
So, Theo, don't overreact, but I want to talk to you about one of the people that I've been associating with since I came up on Mr. Rusu Alren.
All right.
And I'm going to cut the conversation there because gonna let the gossip happen off camera. So anyway.
Okay.
So me and Russo, yeah. So he's so handsome. The next morning, you guys are gonna set off, and I'm going to assume that you guys are going to select Rosie to go with you into the deep roads.
The thought was Rosie and Darren, and if Garrison wants to come along, he can, because Leon's going. So
unless he's
you're leaving the Darkspawn ogre behind by his lonesome.
Oh wait, Bomb is an option. Oh well, yeah.
Bomb is your last party member.
Oh, he's gonna join us.
Well, this is gonna make this difficult.
Okay then, that does change things. Can we take all three of them?
Sir Garrison is going to insist that he comes with you, so he's taking up one of the spots. I'm going to allow you to take 2 more spots because Sir Garrison sort of is shoehorning himself in.
Might I suggest Rosie and Balm? I don't think Darren's to come for this journey, really.
Yeah, that's
perfectly
fair.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense too. As you guys are about to head out to go to the deep roads, Beastmaster Athon approaches Pasha, and he says, "If I may have a word with you, Pasha."
Yes, of course, Athona. Is everything all right?
Oh, everything's wonderful. Everything is just fine. And he sort of like scratches the back of his neck nervously. And he says, I just wanted to thank you again for helping me to, first of all, helping me in the woods with the mutated darkspawn, as they call them, and for helping me achieve my childhood dream of being face to face with the Golden Hala.
It was no problem. It was a pleasure to do so. You don't need to thank me for that.
It's always been in your nature, I think, to be there for others, to help nurture them and care for them, and helping me with my personal fears, for example, of flying. He says, he laughs nervously. I just wanted to tell you that every time that we go out on our flights with Valor, it's been quite freeing, and I've never felt so free in my life in a very long time. If you remember, the Golden Hala was generous enough to provide us with the gift of its golden antlers, and I decided that to show my gratitude, I made you this out of it. And he will present to you a beautiful crown, a beautiful golden antler crown.
Oh!
That is fashioned in a way that, out of character, I don't know if this was necessarily Athon's intention, but if you were to wear this crown on your head, it almost looks like you have Kossith horns. Like actual goodness, honest to God, Kunari Kossith horns.
Oh my god! Pasha's dreams are coming true!
Yeah, you're actually getting Kunari horns.
It is official. The DAA Pathon has sailed. It is happening. It's a thing.
I'm sure in some culture, giving a crown like that's a sign of marriage, 100%.
They say that the horns of the Hala give the wearer good luck. I hope that while you are in the deep roads or anywhere, that by wearing this, it will provide you with the luck and protection that I hope to give you while you're present here with us.
That is incredibly sweet of you, and she's gonna put them on. She's gonna put that on.
You will put them on, and you do feel like you have a little bit of extra luck in your step, out of character. So this is the crown of the Golden Hala crown. What you can do with this crown is once per day, if you roll something that is not a stunt, you can automatically treat it like a stunt. So if you roll something and like the dragon die is a 6, but it's not technically a stunt, you could take that 6 as a stunt and turn it to stunt points. And yes, you can turn it into chakra points. Yes, immediately if you want. Once per day, use it or lose it.
Pasha's gonna put on the crown, and I like to think that she starts walking off with the group. And then she kind of has no, I'm not going to be like how I was when I was 15. And she runs back.
Okay.
And she's gonna sweep Athon off his feet in a dip chest.
Oh!
Go down!
Yes! Yes!
And I hope somewhere Rosie is watching from a window like, that's what I need to do.
I have diagrams! Take the diagrams!
Officially, first romance of the game.
Now that the two of you have shared your first passionate kiss, I give anyone who's played in my campaign knows that means you get a morale bonus. So, yes, that is a thing. You get a morale bonus for solidifying such a thing. So that means that for the next session, I'm going to say for the next session, and next for this session, rest of this session and the next session. For this session and next session, you automatically get a +2 morale bonus on any of your checks, any of your dragon rolls. +2 bonus. Okay. Yay, romance. Nice. He will be, of course, be very shocked by this, but he will, receive and give back, I guess, the kiss.
Yes.
Very romantically. And then I'm gonna say that Valor will poke her head out of the window and just kind of go. Rah, rah.
Valor's just like, get it, girl,
Get it, girl, get it.
Mating season begins.
Mating season begins. There we go.
This is episode 1 of The Bachelorette in true form.
Put Athon back up and then swagger out. Like, yeah. I'm gonna go fight some darkspawn.